What is going on, Bama Nation? What's up? What's happening? We're going to get right into the conversation right here on a Wednesday. Number one forum for Bama football news, in my own words, with yours truly, Stephen M. Smith, your Crimson Tide, taking on Wisconsin this weekend on Saturday, Camp Randall Stadium, 11 a.m. Central Time kickoff. We got the keys to success for your Crimson Tide against Wisconsin. And for me, the number one key to success in this game for Bama is getting off fast start, offensively, defensively. Why? This is Alabama's first major road test of the season. They leave Saban Field at Bryant-Denny Stadium. You go up to Camp Randall in Madison, Wisconsin. There's going to be a lot of wind involved in this game, possibly some rain as well. We could possibly see some weather elements. So going up north to play the Badgers in this matchup against the Big Ten, you're going to need a fast start in this game. Creativity from Nick Sheridan, that's the offensive coordinator. The offense moving fast, scoring points. Defensively, getting off to a fast start as well on defense. Hitting Wisconsin in the mouth in the run game. You know, stopping Wisconsin's run game. Getting pressure on Tyler Van Dyke at quarterback and forcing turnovers. So, fast start offensively, fast start defensively. The number one key here to success for Alabama against Wisconsin. Number two in this game, I want to see Jalen Milroe go off. This is a Jalen Milroe go off football game, right? This is a game where he can go out there and dominate, right? When you talk about in the passing game, short to intermediate passing routes, when you talk about the vertical passing game, stretch the ball downfield, deep ball patterns, but most importantly, using his athleticism as well. This is a moment for Jalen Milroe to announce himself to the Heisman world. I am that guy. And a perfect time to do this against Wisconsin. He's got to go out there and be decisive with the football. Know what you are going to do. Know what you're going to do out there. Don't be nervous. Don't be scared when the pressure comes. If Wisconsin brings pressure, already have what you got in your bag prepared. Whether it's the hot read, whether it's, taking off running, whether it's, you go into that receiver in particular, whoever you're going to, already have made up in your mind what you are going to do. So that's number two there in terms of keys to victory. Jalen Milroe having a dominant game out there, going off on the field and performing extremely well. That's number two. Number three for me, in terms of keys to success here, is this offensive line for Alabama. Offensive line's got to be right this week. The good news, Caden Proctor will be back against the Badgers. According to Kangan DeBoer, has had a great couple of days of practice so far. According to Coach DeBoer, we're starting to turn the corner. Last week, toward the end of last week, he could have played. Proctor could have played against South Florida, but the coaching staff decided to be cautious with him and not play him. But he's back this week. He's good to go. He will play. He will start at left tackle, which would put Tyler Booker back in his natural spot of left guard. Elijah Pritchett had a strong week of practice so far this week. Pritchett did not have any setbacks from the South Florida game injury-wise. He's good to go. He should be back at that right tackle position. So your offensive line from left to right this week should be Proctor, Booker, Brailsford, Roberts, Pritchett. That's your five. And I think you take that five, you gel with that five, you develop chemistry and continuity with that five, you develop confidence with that five, you roll with that group of five up front. Will Conformby in the future, he'll be good. Right now, young. Young needs to learn, continue to kind of rep him with the second team group. He's young, but he'll be good, but got some growing here to do. So I'll look at this offensive line with Proctor, Booker, Brailsford, Roberts, Pritchett as the main five. And this offensive line's got to do work this weekend because you're going up against a Wisconsin defense that their defensive front is suspect against the run. They do not do a strong job of defending the run. So this should be a big opportunity for Alabama's front five to get some holes created for Justice Haynes, Jam Miller, Richard Young. We know Jalen Milroe can also run. This should be a marquee game for the offensive line. Offensive line's got to be right this week. That would be my third key to success right there for Alabama. Number 4 to me is going to be take away Wisconsin's run. Force Tyler Van Dyke to beat you. Take away Wisconsin's run game. Wisconsin right now, they don't have an identity. In years past, we knew what Wisconsin was. Under Brett Bielema, we knew. Under Paul Chryst, we knew. They were ground and pound, run the football, and they had the running backs to do it, right? Now, with Phil Longo as the offensive coordinator, there's kind of a identity crisis where the Badgers are concerned because Phil Longo wants to air the ball out, right? You go back to Ole Miss. Who did he have at quarterback at that time? Jordan Tiamu, Matt Corral, Shea Patterson. And then in his time at North Carolina, he had Sam Howell and Drake May, along with several, receivers at both programs. At Wisconsin, he does not have the personnel he needs to really sort of air the ball out. You've got Phil Longo wanting to throw the football, air the ball out, but you've got some of that old school guard still at Wisconsin going ground and pound, be physical, be elite within the trenches. So a little bit of an identity crisis here for Wisconsin. But if you're Alabama, you stuff the run. You stack the box, you take away the run, and you force Tyler Van Dyke, you beat us, right? Van Dyke has talent as a quarterback, but injuries have plagued him. Inconsistency has plagued him. And he's not the most accurate quarterback in the world, right? If Van Dyke has to throw the football 20, 25, 30 times, the more Van Dyke throws the football, the worse it becomes. The more Tyler Van Dyke has to throw the football, the worse it becomes. So if I'm Kane Womack in this game, I'm stacking the box. I'm bringing heat to Tyler Van Dyke, and I'm saying you beat us. We're not going to let you run the football. We're not going to let you run the football. You beat us throwing the football 20 plus times in this matchup, because what Wisconsin's going to want to do is they're going to want to throw the ball a little bit just to loosen up Alabama's defense to where it can run the football. Alabama shuts off that run, takes away that run, forces Tyler Van Dyke, you put on the Superman cape and try to beat us throwing the football. That'll be the key there for Alabama. That's number 4. Number 5, keys to victory here for Bama: win the turnover battle. Bama did not win the turnover battle last week. Thankfully, you were only playing South Florida. You got to win the turnover battle starting this week against Wisconsin, because the competition is only going to get tougher. After the bye week, you got Georgia, you got Tennessee, you have Missouri, you have all these different programs coming down the road. LSU, throw them in there. So the biggest thing for Alabama is being able to win that turnover battle. When you talk about this football team, you win the turnover battle. You got to take the ball away. You cannot give the ball to Wisconsin. You have to take the ball away. But those are just some of those be my 5 keys to victory right there for Alabama against Wisconsin. Number 1, both sides of the ball. Bama's offense, Bama's defense has to start fast. you got to get off to a fast start. Offense scoring points, offense moving the football, offense having sustained drives, defensively starting fast, having Wisconsin behind the chains, having Wisconsin behind the down and distance. It's number one. Number two, Jalen Milroe having a dominant performance where he goes off. We got to see a performance from Milroe where he's executing in the short to intermediate. He's executing in the deep ball game. He's also executing as a runner as well. It's number two there. Number three for me, as you look at this offensive line has got to come out dominating. Last week, you kind of had a patchwork group, a couple of guys playing in different positions maybe they have not been used to. Once again, Kalen DeBoer set the day. Caden Proctor's been practicing this week. He practiced the latter part of last week. Looked very good last week in practice. Decided not to go with him. But this week, in a good spot, looked great, good to go at that left tackle position. Elijah Pritchett, good to go at right tackle. Being able to run this football behind this offensive line is going to be critical here for Alabama. That's number three for me. Number four for me, for Bama's defense, is you shutting off Wisconsin's run game and forcing Tyler Van Dyke. You got to beat us throwing the football. You have to beat Alabama throwing the football, 20 plus times within the football game. And then last but not least here is being able to win that turnover battle for Alabama, not giving up turnovers, but definitely taking the ball away. But we're going to get to some of your comments here already. You guys are already in here. My guy, Lorenzo Anderson with the Roll Tide. Roll Tide to you, Lorenzo. Happy to have you in here on a Wednesday. Coach Juan comes in with a Roll Tide. Roll Tide to you, Coach Juan. Happy to have you. Alan Mitchell. Love your channel, brother. Appreciate you, Alan. Thank you for tuning in here. Lorenzo Anderson writes back, keep this video going. Absolutely. We're talking keys to victory, keys to success, getting you ready for Bama, Wisconsin this weekend on Saturday, 11 a.m. kickoff right there. Joseph Higginbottom writes in, roll, Tide, roll. Bama family, appreciate you, Joseph, being in here. My man, Don Parker in the building. Good evening and roll, Tide, everyone. Roll, Tide, you done? Happy to have you in here. Joseph Higginbottom comes back with, yes, we got to get off to a fast start. Alabama's offense did not score on its first offensive drive against Western Kentucky, did not score on its first offensive drive against South Florida. It has to score. First offensive drive against Wisconsin. Set that tone. Take the crowd out of that game early, because that Wisconsin crowd, they're going to be on one from the opening kick. Coach Warren writes in, Stephen M., Formby ain't the answer. Formby young, yes, definitely young. Had a tough game, rough game against South Florida, but eventually, he'll be good eventually. Got to continue to get him work. Got to continue to grow him. But like I mentioned, I think the five on the offensive line, Coach Warren, you got to have that chemistry with Proctor, Booker, Brailsford, Roberts, Pritchett. That's the five. And you roll with that as your starting five, getting that group, the chemistry, the continuity, all of that. Joseph Higginbottom comes back. We need to pound the rock. Alabama's got to run the football. With the weather elements this weekend, it's supposed to be some wind, some rain as well. Got to be able to run the football. Got to be able to go behind your offensive line and run this football and establish your will and take the heart away from that Wisconsin defense. You want to take a crowd out of a game and silence everything. You run that football with discipline. You run that football and sticking to it. And that's how you're going to be able to take that crowd from Wisconsin out of the football game. Jeremiah Walker writes in, roll Tide. Think we're going to see more of the playbook Saturday on both sides of the ball. I think you should see more of that playbook open, Jeremiah. I think you should. You should see more of that playbook open. We should see more variations of route concepts from these wide receivers for Alabama. We should see the tight ends get utilized more. We should see the screen game. We should see a lot of things opening up here in this Alabama playbook. I do not disagree with that. Christian Hughes writes in, Roll Tide, Stephen M. Roll Tide to you, Christian. Happy to have you in here. Don Parker writes in, Stephen M., are we sure that Proctor back is going to make a difference? We haven't seen him play yet and don't know if he has improved his skill set in live game action. Well, Don, Proctor's got 13 games of experience going back to last year. So he's got experience. He's played in 13 games going back to last year, his freshman season. And I think Proctor does make a difference because, once again, Tyler Booker never played left tackle before. Now you bring back Proctor, who played all 13 games at left tackle last year. That makes a difference. You get a guy that knows that spot. He understands that spot. He's got experience at that spot. He gets it. Tyler Booker has never played in that spot at Alabama. Yes, he played it in high school, but never played it at Alabama in an actual game. So to have Proctor back, that does make a big difference. And I'm looking forward to seeing how he performs out here on the field against Wisconsin. Christian Hughes comes back with cut down on the penalties. That's another key to success there, Christian. You cannot have the penalties in this game. You had 13 against South Florida for a loss of 120 yards. Now imagine if you played against a team much, much, much better than South Florida, the outcome could have been different. You cannot have the mental lapses. You cannot have the mental errors, the mental mistakes here against Wisconsin on the road in their house in a different environment. Got to play fundamentally sound football and execute the small things well. Let's see here. We got Latoya Billingsley. Roll Tide, y'all. Roll Tide to you, Latoya, as well. Jay Lee is in here. Roll Tide, Stephen. Will get better this week, and so on. This week starts at Jay Lee. This week against Wisconsin. Going out there, handling your business, do your job, perform to the level of excellence you are capable to in all three phases here of the game. Monica Petaway writes in, what's up, Bama Nation? Roll Tide, everyone. Happy to have you in here, Monica. Absolutely. So Don Parker provides a sixth key to success. Well, he provides more than a six. He's got three more here. So number 6, Don has better and more creative play calling. So that's for you, Nick Sheridan. Number 7, overall enthusiasm and the ability to sustain it, even when or if things don't go as expected. So keeping the energy level high, the enthusiasm level high throughout the game. And number 8, doing the fundamentals at a high level. So there's Don Park with his keys to victory there, adding with the 5 that I just put out there. Chatman family writes in, run the ball. Roll Tide, roll. So run the ball is the big thing for Chatman family. There we go there. PJ Steins writes in, everything is new. Coaches, playbook, coaching changes aren't always seamless as we think. We good. So that's PJ saying, everybody calm down. People calm down. Things are new, which they are. Coaches are new, which most of them are. Playbook is new, which it is. The changes are not always seamless. PJ Styles makes a point there. So he's saying Alabama is fine. People calm down. Monica Petaway comes back with, I'm definitely going to be cheering. Just can't be jumping or moving around the whole lot. Hey, Monica, I understand it. I understand it. And I will be home myself, watching this game against Wisconsin. I am not making the trip there to Madison, the land of the cheese heads and cheese curds and all that stuff right there dealing with cheese. I will not be in Madison, Wisconsin. I'll be checking this game from the television set like many of you will be doing. So it should be fun there. We got Travis Burton writes in, I think they hold him back on plays because of Georgia. That's a good point, Travis. That's a good point. But how much are they holding back? Because I think they're going to open up a little against Wisconsin, depending on how the first quarter goes. Like, if Bama's throwing out its most basic stuff in the first quarter and Wisconsin's having trouble with the most basic stuff, then Alabama it doesn't go deep into the bag, right? Because it doesn't need to, because it sees Wisconsin is struggling with the most basic stuff. But we could have a situation where it may dive a little deeper into the playbook and peel some of that playbook back here against Wisconsin this weekend. But hey, we shall see here. DJ Mechanic writes in, and please get creative with the route running. Calm down on the vertical routes. That's the main thing there. Not everything has to be a go ball. Not everything has to be a go ball. We got to have some slants. Got to have some bang eights. Got to have some skinny post patterns. Got to have some comeback routes, some dig routes, some hitch routes, some crossing patterns. Not everything has to be a straight 9 down the field or a vertical route. You don't have to have that every single time. So I definitely want to see more diversity in the route tree. J-Dub comes in. Roll Tide. Good evening, Stephen, and all the Tide fam. Definitely watching this one closely on Saturday. Looking for a clean game on offense and dominating defense. That's the main thing, J-Dub. Clean game on offense, getting off to a fast start, dominating performance on defense, getting off to a fast start. That's the key to victory here. That's the key to success here. Number one key, both sides of the football getting off to a fast start here against a Wisconsin team that's trying to figure out what its identity is. Don Parker comes back with more keys to victory. Number 9, he's got run the ball. Get the run game going and to keep our defense fresh. Number 10, killer instinct finish. In all caps there. So appreciate Don Parker with those keys. Bama Mick writes in, Wisconsin is the next game. Georgia is just another speed bump in the road. We own Georgia. There's that from Bama Mick right there. Having the focus on this game, Wisconsin, putting all the focus here on the Badgers, taking care of business here this weekend. Atoya Billingsley writes in, I don't think they are holding back on plays. The offense hasn't been in a constant enough rhythm to open the playbook. Latoya, so true. The offense has not been in a constant enough groove, in a constant enough rhythm to open the playbooks. What that means is we got to see more of the basic things handled correctly before Bama even dives deeper into the bag to pull out more things. We have to see the basic aspects handled correctly. We have to see the basic aspects handled well with consistency. This is what Alabama is going to have to do here. And going back to that key to success there, starting off fast, even with the basics. Start off fast, even with the basics. Be dialed in, even with the basics. Run those at a high clip. Run those, execute those at a high level, so that way you can move on into the deeper intricacies of your playbook there. Let's see here. We got Chief 18 Wheels right in. Milrow has to hit check downs or just take off Jayden Daniels style. Hey, if Milrow sees pressure coming, right? Hit your check downs, hit your hot read, or already have that mind made up to take off and run with it. Already have your mind made up. Already have that decision made up. I'm taking off and I'm going with it. And that's what Milrow has to do more of, is it doesn't matter where pressure's coming. It doesn't matter if pressure's not coming. Operate with the mindset of the moment this ball hits my hand, I already have a preconceived idea of what I'm going to do with this football. I'm already going to have a preconceived idea. Yes, go through your reads. Yes, go through your progressions. Yes, follow along with those things. But by the time that ball hits your hand, you need to already somewhat have a preconceived thought, a preconceived idea, a preconceived plan of this is where I'm going with the football. Here we go. We continue with your thoughts here. We got J-Dub. I do like what I've seen this year with Milrow keeping his eyes upfield, and he has dumped off a couple of times for yardage. just needs to protect, just need to protect better. Miro has made some improvement, a little improvement. We have seen him keep his eyes downfield. We have seen him work through different reads, different progressions. We have seen him check down. Offensive line does need to protect a bit better, which having Proctor back this week should solve all of the issues with the offensive line. My thing is with Milroe is even when pressure comes, right, is already have an idea of where you want to go to with the football. Already had that in your mind. Where am I going to go to with this ball? It's already in my mind. I know what I'm going to do and be able to perform that action. Be able to get it out there, perform that action, and get that job done. But appreciate all of you guys getting your thoughts in here to start the show. Once again, going back over my 5 keys to success here for Bama against Wisconsin before we take our first short break here on the show. Key number 1, Bama's offense, Bama's defense, got to get back, got to get off to a fast start. Number 2, Jalen Milroe. This is a big game for him to dominate, be effective, be efficient in all facets of the game. Got to have that from him. Number 3, the offensive line. Got to dominate up front, running the football, having that protection from Milroe, and with Caden Proctor being back this week, that offensive line should gel. Number 4, you look at Alabama's defense shutting off Wisconsin's run game and force Tyler Van Dyke to beat it throwing the football. Last but not least, number 5, win the turnover battle there. Captain Jr. writes in, 100% correct. Thank you. Appreciate that, Captain Jr. Don Parker writes in, Bama's defense has to do a better job with stopping the run. I just mentioned that right there. It would not surprise me if Wisconsin reverts back to old Wisconsin for this game. Also, they need to not allow Tyler Van Dyke to get comfortable. True. For Alabama, you got to stop the run. You stop the run, you get Tyler Van Dyke uncomfortable, and you force him to beat you throwing the football. J-Dub writes in, agreed. Stop looking for the big shot downfield. Got to mix it up there. Absolutely got to mix it up there. Captain Jr., yes, yes, yes. So Captain Jr. is feeling what we're talking about right now. Nick Barber writes in, we should be able to run the ball with ease. Look for some play action shots downfield. 42-10 final RTR. So Nick Barber's got 42-10 in favor of Alabama. 42-10. Go ahead, guys, and drop some of your early predictions in the chat line right now. I know you, Don Parker. You're not going to make a prediction. I know you, DP. You are not going to make that prediction. Hey, I respect that. But everybody that wants to make a prediction here on this game, drop those predictions into the chat line. We'll get to as many as we can here on the show. Roll Tide and rise up, Roll Tide family. Appreciate Roll Tide and rise up being in here. J-Dub in here again. Hopefully Proctor has learned to keep his hands up. So Proctor, this will be the first game of this season for him. Last season he started in all 13 games, or 13, 14 games at left tackle for Alabama. Plow Joggers in here. Plow. Roll Tide. Everybody appreciate Plow Jogger being in here. Henry Lindsay writes in, the problem is our O-line, not Milroe. Once Proctor comes back, we will be fine. Henry, Proctor comes back this week. Had a great week of practice. The latter part of last week, could have played last week. Coaching staff was cautious with them. No, we're not going to put you out there. Had a good couple of days of practice so far this week. In a good spot right now. Proctor should be back. We'll be back. Alabama's offensive line should be fine there. Don Parker saying definitely not making predictions, especially after the last 3 seasons and 2 games. Just want to see this team play according to the standard again. So Don Parker, we know him, true to form, not giving a prediction. Captain Jr. writes in 35-21 Bama if we can do every key point you spoke on. So he's got 35-21 in favor of Alabama. Monica Petway writes in, if Alabama does well and Wisconsin still tries to come with it, I say 35-10 in favor of Bama over Wisconsin. If they make them quit, 50-3. Hey, Monica, I like your make them quit mindset. 50-3. I like that. 35-10 is cool. But that make them quit 50-3, I like that right there. Jay Walker writes in 45-17 Bama. So Jay Walker, 45-17 in favor of the Crimson Tide. That is that prediction from Jay Walker here for this upcoming matchup. We're going to take a quick break here on the show. Don't touch that dial. We're just getting started here. When we get back, we jump into more of your comments. Coach DeBoer also gave us an injury update on a certain redshirt freshman wide receiver. We'll talk about that and these receivers creating that separation in this game against Wisconsin right after this. But first, a word from our people at Alumni Hall. We're out here at Alumni Hall in Tuscaloosa. Oh, yeah, this. Oh, man. Gotta get this. Gotta get one of these right here. Can't rock that Bam without this shirt right here, fresh polo. You gotta also rock the all pink, like Kanye West right there. Keychains, gotta get you some keychains. University of Alabama keychains. I'm telling you, if you are a die-hard Alabama fan and you're looking for some big-time apparel, this place has got everything. We're talking shirts, shoes, sweatshirts, hoodies, cups, mugs, keychains. If you're just a Tide fan that has an itch to get more apparel, get more swag in your game, you come right here at Alumni Hall in Tuscaloosa, right here in Midtown Village. And also you can shop online. The link is in the description to get your gear right here at Alumni Hall. Y'all know what time it is. Y'all go right there, Alumni Hall in Tuscaloosa, Midtown Village. Get that gear, keychains and everything. Appreciate all of you guys. Check it out, Alumni Hall there. We're back rocking and rolling to the action from the break. Hottest show on the streets. In my own word, George Truly, Stephen Smith of TDA, getting with you right here. We're talking about the keys to success, keys to victory. Alabama against Wisconsin. I've laid out my keys. You guys have brought in some keys of your own for the Crimson Tide and also some score predictions here. We get back into these. New attitude comes in here with 42-10 RTR, Roll Tide Roll. So new attitudes got Bama 42, Wisconsin 10. Lisa Rawls is in here. Lisa's got 42-16 in favor of Alabama. Ironically, the exact same score from the South Florida game, 42-16 in favor of Alabama. Lisa's got the Tide over the Badgers. We got Court Kynard, 57-21, Bama over Wisconsin. Roll Tide and Rise Up says, I'm not doing any more predictions. Last season, I kept shooting myself in the foot. So Roll Tide and Rise Up. He is leaving the prediction game alone there. Bama Mick writes in, no predictions here. If we score more points than Wisconsin, we will probably win. So Bama Mick, Roll Tide and Rise Up, and Don Parker, no predictions from that trio. We got Kimmy Kim writes in, Roll Tide. I'm praying this team has learned a lesson from last game. I do see Bama winning this game. I think this team has learned from last game to where you got to start off fast. You can't lose the turnover battle. You can't take South Florida lightly. But then most importantly, you have to execute at every level of the game. And I think this team throughout this week of practice has gotten a full understanding of this. I think we'll see a much better performance against Wisconsin. Plow Jogger comes in. He's got 48-17 Bama, and only because we substitute in the fourth quarter and they score some on us. So Plow Jogger feels like the score would be 48-0 for the most part, but because Bama will substitute in the fourth quarter, the Badgers get some points there. So there is Plow Jogger 48-17. J-Dub writes in, 3 a.m. comes early. Roll Tide roll. Thanks, Stephen, for all you do for us. Appreciate you. Hey, J-Dub, I appreciate that, man. This is what I enjoy doing, giving you, the Alabama football fans, the Crimson Tide football content. This is what I enjoy doing here. Let's see. Don Parker writes in, I will say two things prediction-wise. If Bama doesn't improve, this game will definitely show it. Play bad against Wisconsin, and it will be a very long day. Bama can't afford to look ahead to Georgia. Cannot afford to look ahead to Georgia. You got to play this one game at a time, starting off here with Wisconsin. We got Plow Jogger. Van Dyke is an experienced, mobile, and accurate quarterback, but not a big downfield threat. Bottle him up. That's the main thing. Van Dyke is not a big threat downfield, and Wisconsin, for the most part, would like to tailor his pass attempts between 15 to 20, right? Because they want Van Dyke to throw it just enough to soften up Alabama's defense to where Wisconsin can run the football. That's what they want to do. They want to be physical. They want to run the football. So the big thing for Alabama is you take away the run, you come after Tyler Van Dyke. And even if he is athletic, corral him, set that edge, defend that edge, corral him, get him on the ground there. We got Patricia Purdue with Bama will beat Georgia. Right now, Patricia, right now, I know people are pumped up for Georgia. But right now, Bama's got Wisconsin. We're looking at this Wisconsin game right now. We're looking at the Wisconsin game right now. We got Who Wants to Know? Roll Tide, Stephen M. No penalties. That's a big thing there. No penalties. Cannot have the mental mistakes. Cannot have the mental errors here in this game. Monica Petaway writes in, glad I'm able to catch up while recovering. My knee is doing much better than it was Saturday. Ice, heating pad, and Epsom salt have been my best friends. So happy, Monica, you're doing better. And yes, ice, heating pad, and Epsom salt are three beautiful things God put on this earth. All right? Ice, heating pad, and Epsom salt. Thank God for all three of them things, especially the Epsom salt, drawing out the soreness. Drawing out the soreness here. Patricia, I get it, Steven. They will arrive in this Wisconsin game. They'll get it done. They'll get it done against Wisconsin. And Patricia, I am also definitely still looking forward to a Georgia matchup still, even though that comes after the bye week. Let's see here. Ricky White II writes in, I would like to know why we aren't targeting Kobe and Kendrick more. Prediction 47-13 Bama. That's a good question, Ricky White, and that's one for Nick Sheridan, right? You got Kobe Prentice, who's a proven, reliable target. No, freshman year, sophomore year, did big things for Alabama. Had production. So I don't know why Prentice is not getting the ball more. I don't understand that. You know, when you went to him against South Florida, he caught a touchdown pass. You got to go to Prentice more. And then K-Law, you got to get the ball into that man's hands. Yes, he had a fumble on the kickoff return. I understand that. But the guy's electric. You got to work the ball into his hands and in a variety of ways. Whether you give him the ball as a running back, give him the ball on jet sweeps, have him the ball on pop passes, whatever you got to do to get Kendrick Law the football, that needs to be a priority there. Don Parker writes in, we shall see what happens Saturday. Road game with the early kickoff will be interesting. It is a road game. It's an early kickoff, 11 a.m. Definitely will be interesting. Dexter Wright, Stephen M., will the DB show up when needed? Damani Jackson looked very suspect. I know Coach Maurice Linguist, cornerbacks coach, talked about the other corners today. I think the DBs will show up when needed. I think a lot of that in terms of Damani Jackson was the tempo that South Florida ran with. Maybe kind of caught Damani off guard a little bit there. I know when they put Jagan Mbakwe in there, Bach handled it pretty well. So I look at it as this is a big week for Damani. This is a big week for Damani and the entire Alabama secondary to do more than just hold your own. Create some turnovers, create some interceptions, get some takeaways. Big week for the Alabama secondary. Get those takeaways. It's very, very important this week. Let's see. Court Kiner writes in, this team is going to get better every game. This team's going to get better every game by game. So you got to take it one game at a time, one step at a time. Absolutely. PJ Steins, I just want Jalen to throw to an open man. We kept the wideouts happy so it can be done. This is true. PJ has a point there. You were able to keep the guys like Jalen Waddle, Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs, Devontae Smith. You kept all those guys happy. Why? By getting them the football. But the reason why, PJ Steins, you had an offensive savant and Steve Sarkisian that could manipulate those passing concepts to make sure those guys got the football. So that's what we need to see from Nick Sheridan. Manipulating those passing concepts so that these targets that Alabama has, they can get the football. Yes, get to the open man, but like I said, not everything has to be a vertical down the field. Mix it up. Mix it up. Joseph Higginbottom, 42-10, Bama. Appreciate Joseph Higginbottom for that prediction. Monica Petaway comes back with, got to have the right pieces in there. Got to have the right pieces on the field for everything. That's got to happen there. We got Bama 0890 feed Jeremy Bernard. That's another one. Jerm had 4 or 5 catches against South Florida, but when he catches the foot, when he gets open, he catches the football. He shows you he can be a reliable target. That's another one that you got to get the ball into his hands. Plow Jogger writes back in up here. We need Saban to talk to the team about ball security. Did we ever have 2 fumbles in 1 quarter when he was the head coach? I want to go back, Plow. The 2015 game against Ole Miss, I think that was the last time Bama had, 2 fumbles in 1 quarter when Saban was the coach. But that game against Ole Miss in 15 was just crazy. But definitely would like to have Saban talk to the guys and address the guys about the importance of ball security. That is a big deal there. You're not going to win games losing the turnover battle. You're just not, especially when you play against these marquee opponents down the road. You're not going to win games not being able to protect the football. Going back to key to success number 5, you have to win the turnover battle if you are Alabama. We got Anthony Harris, defensive front has to dominate and get back on track. Defensive front has to play its best ball. Now, there have been some guys on the defensive front that have been playing well. LT Overton has. Tim Keaton had a massive game last week. Q Robinson's been playing well. Quay Russaw has shown you some things. James Smith had a very good first game against Western Kentucky, 3 pass breakups. We definitely want to see more consistency from that defensive front. Let's see here, Ricky White II. Yes, we definitely have to mix it up. We kept trying to go deep last Saturday, and it was covered. Got to change it up. You got to mix in different concepts. Now, you only throw that go ball if you know that go ball is going to hit. You only throw that go ball, that vertical route, that deep shot, if you know beyond a shadow of doubt that's going to hit, right? But you don't try to press that every single time. And I felt like that was the issue last week for Alabama. They tried to press the goal ball every single time. And you can't do that. You got to be able to mix it up in the passing game. Yes, if you see Ryan Williams has 5 steps on somebody, okay, go ball. I get it. If you see Jeremy Bernard or Kobe Prentice or Kendrick Law 5, 6 steps on somebody, then yes, go ball. I get it. But that shouldn't be an every single time thing. Shouldn't be like that. Let's see here. Nick Barber writes in, the rideouts era is hard to compare to It's hard to compare to Tua. It's hard to compare to Tua could go through his reads at a pro level. Tua could go through his reads at a pro level. And then, once again, Tua Tagovailoa at that point in time, Nick, went to the Elite 11 and got challenged by Trent Dilfer and showed Trent Dilfer he can get this thing done and just became a passing prodigy. I mean, an absolute passing prodigy. Pork Rinds comes in. Wisconsin's offense plays to Bama's strength on defense. I expect Alabama's defense to feast this Saturday. Appreciate Pork Rinds giving us his thoughts there. Excuse me, Don Parker comes back. I like to see this team get swagger back. Alabama doesn't put fear in teams anymore. They did that by doing the fundamentals at an exceptionally high level and physicality. Make teams quit again. Make teams quit again. There we go. There we go. There we go. We got Don wanting nothing but excellence. Wanting nothing but excellence. Here we go. Plow writes in. Pork rinds on here with the reasonable post. Lordy. Hey, Plow. Plow. Hey, Plow. I thought it was going to snow for a minute, man. I thought it was going to snow for a minute. Pork Rinds responds with, I am always reasonable. I study teams. Well, Pork Rinds gives his reason. Studying football teams. A little bit of another update here, guys. Cole Adams at wide receiver. Here we go. Pork Rinds, come on, Steven. Don't do me like that. Pork, I did say that you provided a reason, though, that you do study teams. I did come back with your following comment. I'm not doing you like that. You say you study teams. I can't disagree with you. So you said that you study teams. I'm just taking into account what you said, Pork Rinds. I'm just taking into account what you said there. There we go. There we go. Bama Maker writes in, Saban don't need to talk to the team about turnovers. This is Kalen's team, in my opinion. True. It is DeBoer's team. And DeBoer does need to talk to this team about taking proper, better care of the football, because you cannot win games in losing the turnover battle. Let's see here. Scotty Smith writes in, I think they worried about the money and got no heart. Now, NIL has played a role in all of this, but at the end of the day, NIL is not going anywhere. We just have to embrace it, right? Name, image, and likeness is not going anywhere. We have to embrace it. That is the era of college football we're in now. DJ Mechanic writes in, what's the possibility of us seeing a two-back set, Haynes and Miller in the backfield would be awesome. Seeing a two-back set would be good. Seeing a two-back set would be cool. And I would like to see that put into play against Wisconsin. Will Alabama go that route? We'll see. But it'll be good to see it against Wisconsin. Let's see here. Plow writes in, Don, one thing about making them quit, since Saban came to Alabama, college teams have seriously built up their physical conditioning. I'd like to read a study about it. Cochran changed the game. Cochran did change the game. But Cochran changed the game from more than just strength and conditioning. Cochran changed the game from a mental, motivational standpoint, right? Cochran changed the game from a standpoint of, this is the same Scott Cochran that when Alabama finished second, runner-up in the college football playoff, remember that 2016 loss to Clemson in the championship game, and Scott Cochran smashed the runner-up trophy in the locker room. Like he took a sledgehammer to that thing. Cochran was not only strength and conditioning, Cochran was mental motivation. Cochran was mental motivation. That's what made him, a cut above at that time. Mental motivation. Scotty Smith, I get it, but need rules. And they're trying to get more parameters around NIL, Scotty. They're trying to get more parameters around that. That's one of the things that even Coach Saban is working on, is trying to have more parameters, or that Nick Saban's working on, trying to have more parameters put in place in terms of name, image, likeness. Jay Walker writes in, think Saab is going to go for a touchdown or two. So he's got Keon Saab with a pick six or maybe two pick sixes against Wisconsin. Bama 0890. I think we need to take into account the amount of points that were scored in such a small time frame, as well as if our defense can hold up and offense can score like that, we will be tough to beat. Alabama is averaging over 50 points a game so far. Bama has also given up just 8 points per game in two matchups, only giving up 1 touchdown so far this season. Let's see, Scotty Smith writes in, what about the O-line? Will they be okay? O-line will be fine. Elijah Pritchett did not re-aggravate his ankle issue against South Florida, got through the game healthy. He's good to go. Caden Proctor, according to Coach DeBoer, looked good in practice the latter part of last week. Could have went last week against South Florida. Coaching staff was cautious with him. He's been performing well so far for the first couple of days of practice. In a good spot right now. So you should have Proctor and Pritchett this week. J-Dog67 writes in, it hasn't even been a year yet. It hasn't been a year yet. Coach KD got this. It's only week 3. We will be fine. RTR. Look, J-Dog, it's one of those things where it comes with the territory. When you become the new Alabama head coach, and you take over for the legend that was Nick Saban, and you come in to embrace this fan base, it comes with the territory. Because one thing about Alabama fans, they going to let you know when you on your game. They going to let you know when you awful. They going to let you know when you the truth. They going to let you know when you ain't hitting on jack squat. They going to let you know every single thing, right? So, yes, it hasn't been a year yet. It's only week 3. I get it. I understand it. But this fan base is a very passionate fan base. And they want to see their team operate at an extremely high level. Doesn't matter the competition. Doesn't matter what year it is. They want to see Alabama at a high clip. And if Alabama is not at a high clip, then this fan base is going to let you know that. Let's see here. Don Parker writes in, exactly my point, Stephen M. It was a time at Bama that the participation trophy was not good enough, and taken personally, Bama took it out on opponents too. Let's get back to that, please. Then he goes, believe it or not, I am optimistic, but the players need to play to the standard. The coaches need to do better at coaching and developing these players. There's the points there from Don Parker. Plow writes here, how do you get an Auburn football player off your porch? Pay him for the pizza. Oh, boy. Plow dealing with Auburn fans on the front part. Hey, I feel for you, Plow. I feel for you, man. I 100% feel for you. Scotty Smith, thanks. Love the channel. No, Road Tide. Appreciate you, Scotty. Appreciating the channel there. But I'm going to get you guys a little bit of an update. Cole Adams, Alabama redshirt freshman wide receiver. The arm injury he suffered last week was not as bad as it looked. Thank goodness. At first glance, I thought the man broke his arm. But thankfully, according to Kagan DeBoer, he mentioned today that Cole Adams dodged a lot of bullets. The injury, not as bad as what was originally thought. He's okay. He's limited this week in practice, doing some things. He is doubtful for this game against Wisconsin. I certainly would not put him out there. Let him rest up. Let him heal up. Let him heal through the bye week. And then get him back out there against Georgia. But that was good to hear that Cole Adams, it's not as bad as what was originally thought. Let's go. Tough as nails writes in. Matt LePay, the voice of the Badgers, commented that Tyler Van Dyke has a strong arm, but we don't trust him. Roll Tide Steven. I mean, there you go. If the voice of the Badgers is saying that they don't trust Van Dyke, what does that tell you? If the voice of their own football team then said, we don't trust Van Dyke, what does that tell you? They're only going to have him throw a little bit to try to soften up this defense to run the football against Alabama. Alabama takes away the run game and forces Tiger Van Dyke to beat them. They don't trust Van Dyke to do that. They do not. Let's see here. Christopher Brock writes in, I've been telling people for the last 6 to 7 years that Scott Cochran was the heart of the program. He was more involved with the kids than Saban was. Hey, Scott Cochran was highly involved. He was highly involved. Now, yes, people look at, well, the injuries that happened under his watch, the ACL injuries, the foot injuries, the knee injuries, all the stuff that happened, yes. But from a mental motivation standpoint, very few were like Cochran. From a mental motivation standpoint, very few are like him. So, absolutely. Let's see here. Scotty Smith writes in, Adams seems he's going to be a great kick returner. Good to hear. Cole Adams is going to be a very good punt returner. I mean, if the guy could have gotten a crease one time against South Florida, he would have taken one back. That is how good that's how electric he can be there as a punt returner. Brian Watson comes in with, I'm sure the coaching staff has also shown the first page in the playbook. We should start to see more in prep for Georgia, and that starts with the Badgers. So that prep work should start this week, Brian. Should start this week. We shall see. Bama 0890 comes in with the offense. This offense is a sleeping giant. I think it has potential to be better than the Mac Jones-led offense. And that Mac Jones-led offense, Bama 0890, was an offense. That Mac Jones-led offense with Mac and Najee and Waddle and Smitty and John Mechie and my guy, the offensive line led by Landon Dickerson. That was an offense. Period. That was an offense. Steve Sarkisian was the play caller for that offense. So if this offense with Milroe has a chance to potentially be better than that 2020 offense with Mac Jones, then we got to start seeing some stuff this weekend. I'm just saying. We got to start seeing some stuff this weekend because that 2020 offense with Mac Jones wasn't no joke now. Mac 10, that wasn't no joke. That was a fun offense to watch. I mean, that offense was putting up 50, 60 points a game. Crazy. I mean, Devontae Smith, you knew exactly who was going to get the ball, and you still couldn't stop Slim Reaper. you knew Najee Harris was going to hurdle over you, and you still couldn't stop him? Like you knew Landon Dickerson was going to pancake you to the ground, and you still couldn't stop him? Yeah. That 2020 offense was special. So if this offense has the potential of rivaling that offense, then we got to see some things this week unfold here. But good news on Cole Adams. He's okay. Like I said, doubtful this week against Wisconsin. That's fine. Let him rest up. Let him heal up. Heal through the bye week. Get him prepared for Georgia. But we had our keys to success today, folks. Once again, those keys from my end. Offensively, defensively for Bama. Get off to a fast start against Wisconsin. Number 2, Jalen Milroe. Go out there, dominate in all facets of your game. This could be a beginning Heisman moment for you. Number 3, Bama's offensive line. Execute your assignment, running blocking, pass blocking. You'll have Caden Proctor back this week. Got Elijah Pritchett. Should be able to do what you need to do. Running the football and in pass protection. Number 4, Alabama defense. Shut off Wisconsin's run game. Get after Tyler Van Dyke. Make him absolutely uncomfortable back there. Bring pressure. Force some takeaways there. Last but not least, win the turnover battle. Cut down penalties, but win that turnover battle. With that being said, folks, you want the best in news, notes, information, material on your favorite program, that being the Crimson Tide. You can get this by accessing the Touchdown Alabama magazine app. You download the app from the iPhone App Store if you're rocking Team Apple, Google Play Store if you got the Android phone. For your audio needs, check us out, iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn Radio, Overcast.fm, or iHeartRadio. We got you covered right there. The good and gracious Lord sees fit. I'll be back in the studio on Friday, continuing the conversation that is Tide football. Remember, Bama fans, be sure to subscribe to touchdownalabama.com. That's touchdownalabama.com. You get you that subscription today to have all of your Crimson Tide information in the palm of your hands. Also subscribe to TDA Plus for all of the Video Hub material there on your Crimson Tide. Gotta appreciate all of you guys for checking out the show this evening as I came to you from the home location. Till next time, folks, I'm your man, Stephen M. Smith, and you've been listening to In My Own Words.